Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you a very small part of my experience as the lead person on the Ashraf file within UNAMI. And very briefly, I would like to tell you that I was headhunted to join the United Nations and to go to Iraq to promote and protect human rights. So in that process, and those of you who know the bureaucracy of the United Nations, you sign a document to pledge that you do your utmost best to uphold the values of the United Nations, the values of the mankind, the rule of law and human rights. And so I did. I went to Iraq to promote and protect human rights. Unfortunately, the United Nations Mission for Assistance of Iraq, UNAMI, is a political mission. So when we talk about politics, there are always compromises here and there. And in this context, as the chief of human rights in Iraq, I find myself being asked to compromise, while the same organization made me sign a document not to ever compromise about human rights. So I stuck to my commitments. The commitment I signed, that I will uphold the rule of law and human rights. And people in Ashraf came under my mission. I was the person within the United Nations system to visit them in Ashraf every week. I monitored the situation and reported. The Ashrafis have been attacked repeatedly. And the government of Iraq had never hidden its intentions towards the residents of Camp Ashraf. It's the United Nations who always try to change sort of the attitude of the government of Iraq by covering up and saying that there is some gains in the process in Iraq in terms of protection of human rights, while the government of Iraq is openly pledging to never respect the human rights standards of the United Nations vis-à-vis the residents of Camp Ashraf. So we've been more loyalist to the government of Iraq than to the United Nations. In April 2011, the Ashrafis were attacked, 36 were killed, and a large number of people were injured. I led the fact-finding mission to Camp Ashraf, and I did the body counts, and I reported accordingly. UNAMI prevented me from making the report public. I had to send it to Geneva in irregular way in order to give them a chance in Geneva to make it public. And I've always been reminded that I have to report positively. Reporting positively, it means covering up. Don't say what you observe on the ground. And as I said from the very beginning, I signed a document to only report objectively and in total impartiality. And so I did. But my efforts never reached their destination. People were killed, attacked repeatedly. An embargo was imposed on them. access to medical services were denied, access to water was denied. And yet, we were supposed to report positively. Now, when it came to moving residents of Camp Ashraf to Camp Liberty, here again I was the first person to visit Camp Liberty, and I reported that Camp Liberty is a center of detention. It's not a refugee camp. And moving 3,500 people from a very well-organized, very nice city, the best city in Iraq, moving them to about half square kilometer in the compound of Baghdad airport, they were destined to be sent to a prison-like institution, which the Iraqis tried to do so many times and failed. So the United Nations came with a plan to mislead them to this place. Because those of you who remember the former Special Representative or Secretary General, Mr. Martin Kobler, he had to doctor reports and even pictures to convince both the international community and the residents of Ashraf that Camp Liberty is acceptable. So we lied to our institution, we lied to the people of Ashraf, we lied to the international community. And we had reports, specialized reports, that Camp Liberty is very vulnerable to attacks. And yet, we made the international community believe that they are only going there for 6 months. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees was supposed to do the refugee status determination within 6 months. Residents were promised they will not stay in Liberty more than 6 months. And we know very well that they are there to last for at least 10 years, 15 years, God knows. And let me remind you that within the European human rights system, in September 2010, the European Court of Human Rights decided that sending these people to Iran or keeping them in Iraq is a violation of their human rights. This is your court, Court of Human Rights, European Court of Human Rights. Keeping these people in Iraq or sending them to Iran is a serious violation of human rights. And also I need to remind you that it's your tax money that has been spent in order to close Camp Ashraf and send these people to Camp Liberty to be an easy target. I really would like you to understand that every day these people will stay in Liberty, their life is exposed to very serious danger. And I think the solution is really reachable, affordable, and it's not something that needs very special efforts. It's a small population of less than 3,000 now. So those who really care about human rights, they should do their best to offer resettlement places. And I thank you very much for your attention.